I'm here to stay. Make a good lucha thing.
See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best at beating me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix, your chances of winning drastically go down.
This is such good shit.
It's time for the Ringsiders Podcast.
Baloney, fudge, and mustard! My life is being ruined by the internet!
Welcome into another episode of Ringsiders. This is Ringsiders episode number 4. My name is Gabe Anderson, the host of Ringsiders, and we got our crew of characters here. We got Billy Snyder all the way from the great state of Iowa. Billy, how you doing?
Good. Rising above hate. Believe that.
I believe that. And, of course, we got Neil Lommel. Neil, live from the van. How's it going?
Second episode from the van. Things are going good. Been a lot of good, exciting wrestling lately, and I'm very excited to dive into it with you fellas today.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, we got the one and only Dante Smith, hailing from Apple Valley High School, right? Yeah, you went to where Tyus went to high school.
The
Yeah,
Apple Valley High School.
Yeah, you and Tyus were like this.
We're very close.
It's like the Ohio State University. You gotta say it like that.
There's two high schools in Apple Valley, so we got to make sure everyone knows it's the Apple Valley.
I suppose I should.
Apple Valley State or something.
Yeah,
no, it's Eastview. That's where the rich kids go.
I suppose I should have said all of your high schools. Billy, you went to Jordan. Jordan, okay, and then Neil, I honestly have no idea.
St. Cloud Tech High School.
Oh, you're from that area. I forgot about
Go
that.
Tigers.
And I went to Heritage Christian Academy, class of 2013, class of 24 people, and I was top 25 in my class. So
nice, dude.
Yeah,
that's an achievement.
Yeah.
My high school had 3 mascots, so
Really?
What?
What?
Yeah. So
purposes?
the men is the Hubmen, the women are the Jaguars, and then we share a team, a wrestling team with the neighboring city, Belle Plaine, and they're the Scott West Panthers.
Oh, okay.
What was the guy mascot again?
Hubmen, Hubmen.
So not anything against Jordan, Minnesota, but how the hell do you have the Hubmen and then the Jaguars? Like those two things.
Should be the Lady Hubmen.
Oh yeah, like the Hub women.
Hub ladies.
There was a movement to unify it under one mascot, but I don't know, the older folks were like, "Oh no, the kids are trying to be inclusive again."
Tradition.
Too political.
What?
God forbid we have one mascot for a damn school. And anyways, continue. Sorry.
Well, I mean, what they should have done to unify it is have a unification match for a ladder match. To unify
for
the names.
Custody of the
custody of the mascot.
Anyway, we got a lot of wrestling to talk about. We have two pay-per-views within the matter of 8 days, and they're both in the same company. No, actually, really, we have what you would call 3 pay-per-views in the matter of 9 days, because we have NXT Takeover, which went down last Saturday. We had SummerSlam, and now we have Payback. Just so much pay-per-viewing that we're doing. But I think we should start with NXT Takeover. Your thoughts of NXT Takeover, since we haven't been able to talk about it too much. So let's start with the main event. Keith Lee loses, which not many of us saw coming, and this will come into us talking about Raw in a little bit. Keith Lee loses the Universal Championship and to Karrion Kross in a match where Karrion Kross got hurt. Guys, personally, I didn't like the match that much. I thought it was kind of boring, but let's start with you, Dante. What was your thoughts on that match and your thoughts on Keith Lee's really short title reign?
I mean, the title reign, it makes sense considering what happened Monday. As far as the match itself, I mean, if you're not into the MMA style that Kross brings, you're probably not going to dig it. For me, I'm really into that kind of stuff. So the whole clash of styles there, I really dug. But that's just me. I thought the main event was fine. But again, I thought Cross was the right choice for the situation. It's unfortunate what happened though.
Yeah, for sure. Neil, what'd you think of the Cross Keith Lee match and him losing the title so quick?
To be honest, I didn't catch the match, but taking the belt off Keith Lee so soon does seem kind of weird, and it is a bummer that Karrion Kross is hurt. But the match that we do get off the back of him having to vacate his title should be pretty exciting.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Billy, your thoughts on Keith Lee not necessarily having that long of a reign?
I'm guessing that he was spotted maybe by Vince as someone who's, main roster ready, or they had plans, but they just needed something to transition it from Adam Cole to Karrion Kross. So, I mean, he's still champion, whether he held it for, 1 day or 1,000 days. So still a big moment. And it was a good way to build up Karrion Kross, as unfortunate as it is that he got injured, but no complaints. It's fine, man.
Yeah, and it's disappointing that Karrion Kross goes down like that. Do you think I'll bet you they just wanted Keith Lee to be the one to stop Adam Cole's streak, just so they gave him that, and then they had plans for Karrion Kross much after that. But another match from NXT TakeOver, and as you guys know, I love ladder matches. The North American Championship match that Damian Priest ends up taking, and I am excited for a title reign with Damian Priest. I like him a lot. But Neil, did you end up seeing the ladder match, or did you miss that one? Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay. But your thoughts on a Damian Priest title reign?
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, he seems like the kind of guy who might need that belt to help get him over a little bit more. And it's a new guy with the championship, so.
Mm-hmm.
I think things are looking up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dante, did you think they went with the right guy with Damian Priest winning that ladder match?
I mean, it's hard to say. They've been building up Priest lately for something special. He had a great showing against Balor at the last TakeOver. He's been getting a lot of wins in NXT TV, so it makes sense. Personally, I probably would have gone with Grimes.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I love a pest heel, and I've said that the last episode as well. So, again, I don't think there was any really wrong choice. Well, there was one wrong choice, and that's Velveteen Dream, but we'll leave that as that. But any of those guys, I think, are great mid-card champions and really elevate that title. I think Priest is the right choice.
Yeah, I like Priest as well. Billy, your thoughts on the match and Damian Priest as North American champion?
For the most part, Damian Priest really didn't do a whole lot for me, but now that he has something to back him, I'm excited to see what they can do. But I don't really have a whole lot of analysis on it. They only had one wrong choice they could have made, and they didn't make it. So,
yeah,
10 out of 10 for that. Well done.
That's true. And and I thought the match was good. I didn't think it was as good as the ladder match, the one, I believe, from New Orleans, their first North American title ladder match. But I thought it was definitely a good match. Any other thoughts from NXT TakeOver, or should we move on to SummerSlam?
Yeah.
Whoa. We're not going anywhere without talking
one
about
thing.
McAfee versus Adam
Exactly.
Cole.
Oh, I completely forgot about that. That
match
honestly slipped my mind.
That match was a banger. Adam Cole is a professional. Pat McAfee did super well. A little too much grandstanding and hot dogging for my taste, but it shows that he gets it, right? And if he's overdoing it, it makes it a lot easier to work with than if he's underdoing it. So Pat McAfee's got a bright future if he decides to wrestle again. Banger of a match, and we all said it would be good. And it was good. So you know what? If you want real predictions, you listen to Rick's Homes.
That's true. Dante, Pat McAfee,
Very
Adam
good.
Cole.
Great for the brand. Look, it was a fantastic match. I mean, Pat McAfee is a true athlete. You could tell he's an all-pro punter in the NFL. Punters are people too. Look, I just think the bottom line is I think it was a great match, and it left me wanting more from Pat McAfee, which is surprising. So well done by everybody. fantastic match. I'd say match of the night.
Yeah, I would actually say that the Takeover or the North American Championship was the match of the night for me. But yeah, definitely a great match and definitely a great showing from Pat McAfee. So let's move on to SummerSlam. The big news, did you guys see Roman Reigns coming? Let's start
I did not see it coming.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Neil.
I did not see it coming. I was like, what is it going to be? What is it going to be? And honestly, I don't know if there was any like spoilers or leaks online, but I honestly did not see anything about Roman Reigns returning. And it was awesome. I think it was a perfect way to bring him back, puts him right back in with the Universal title picture. Woo! He is over. He's on fire.
And is he heel now? Is he officially heel?
So I think this is going to open up the character of Roman Reigns that we've been looking for, where he's not this guy who's talking about tater tots and, suffering succotash or anything like that. It's just I show up, I break, I kick the shit out of you, and I leave. And that's what we need. And that's what, I am not a Roman Reigns hater anyway, but this is going to be good. I am so excited to see what they do here. And we're finally going to get the match that we should have gotten before Roman Reigns had to go away and kick the absolute shit out of leukemia.
Yeah. Dante, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming at all. I mean, I agree, though, with what you said, Billy. It does open up a whole new character arc for him. I think something that did bring a lot of interest to me was during that attack, he said to Strowman, "You're not a monster unless I'm here." And then he went to Fiend and he told him, "You're nothing but a freak with a mask." Now, this may be Edge, but that sounds a little bad guyish. But again, I've been in the Super Cena years, so who knows?
And let me reiterate, he's not a bad guy, but he's also not a good guy. He is the guy.
He said that. If he said that tomorrow, I'd pop.
The one thing I thought of yesterday, kind of like how you're saying, Billy, he's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. It kind of reminded me of his old buddy from the Shield, the former Dean Ambrose, or John Moxley in AEW. He's not a nice guy, but everyone loves him because he's a badass. And I think that type of character is perfect for Roman Reigns.
Yeah, well, let's make Reigns a germaphobe and have him come out with a Bane mask. I think that would put him over. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's definitely true, Neil. The other note.
Okay, one more thing. I'm sorry,
go ahead.
David. I don't mean to cut you off. I got one more thing. This would be the time where he should, if they hadn't done it already, and even if they want to do it again, this is the time for him to simply walk out on SmackDown and say, "This is my yard now," and leave, because this is certainly the way to make an impact. So I know they did it once, but even if he has to be like, "I've said it once and I'll say it again," I don't know why I did that voice. I said it once and I'll say it again. This is my yard now, and then just leave. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen next. And no, I did not see it coming.
And one more thing on that. When he came back, there was a real star power feeling, something you haven't really seen with that company in a long time. I mean, you can say if you like him or you don't like him, but you can't deny the star power that he has.
I was really hoping the thing you wouldn't see coming was Otis cashing in, but I'm not saying
I wouldn't be here.
That's true. You said if he cashed in, you wouldn't be here. So, yeah,
Dante's quitting the biz.
He's gonna pick up a new hobby. He's gonna
take my ball and going home.
Yeah, I mean,
Stone Cold and pick up like wine tasting or jigsaw puzzles or something.
So another thing I wanted to bring up, we've had some disturbing images, or I guess you could say broadcasts of sorts, on the Thunderdome. First, let's talk about the Thunderdome. What do you guys think of the look of the Thunderdome? Let's start with you, Billy.
Yes, and more yes. But the problem is when you leave an open forum to the internet, they're gonna respond the way the internet does. I mean, this is going from the name, like you've seen countless examples of it from the Taylor Swift getting voted to go to perform at a school for the deaf, or Justin Bieber being voted to go perform in North Korea. Like, when you let the internet be the internet, you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have a bad time. The Bodie McBoatface 2 thing, clear example. So if they're gonna do this, they really need to mod this and not just sell it to the highest bidder. I mean, not just sell it to anybody, or if they do, they have to have someone check on if there's a live person, at least for like a solid minute. And if they let someone slip through the cracks, then, I get that, it's the internet, but I really hope they can step up, what they're doing, because you hate to see what we saw.
Yeah, it was disappointing. I mean, there was like a beheading on it, right? Like, wasn't there like a video?
An ISIS execution video, a Ku Klux Klan rally, and
a wrestler not to be named.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you guys all know who we're talking about. But Dante, any other thoughts on the Thunderdome, the look, or kind of the monitoring of it?
It's beautiful. It feels like there's liveliness in the building. That's something I haven't felt in months since this whole pandemic started. I like the look. It's sleek. It looks nice. It looks clean. It feels vibrant. Even with all the people there, sometimes it can be distracting, but I like it leaps and bounds more than the Performance Center.
Mm-hmm. Neil, your thoughts on the Thunderdome?
It's beautiful. Yeah, I think at first I was like, I kind of miss having like the Performance Center wrestlers around to actually have like live bodies, but I think the pumped in crowd noise is good. It looks beautiful, and it feels like a normal WWE show now, because with the Performance Center, it's not an arena, and they can't have their cameras in the same spots that they normally would at an arena like they have at the Thunderdome. So we got the jib camera back, get the cool flying shots. Like, it actually looks like how a WWE show normally looks. So I think it's a huge upgrade, and I'm very excited because the Performance Center was starting to get stale, and the hockey glass was starting to drive me nuts.
Yeah, the hockey glass was definitely starting to get old. And SummerSlam in the rear view. And now we're going to talk a little Monday Night Raw. So the debut of one Keith Lee, he debuts on the main roster. And really, I think the main talk about this is his new theme song kind of sucks.
Look, just keep the first part and I'll deal, okay? But if I immediately don't hear "Bastard of Glory," if I don't hear that first, I'm gonna be pissed. And it's not his fault. I'm not gonna yell at Keith Lee. I know it's not his fault. The wrestlers don't pick this for the most part. But please keep it. Dear God, please keep it. I want to bask. I just want to bask.
Bask in his glory.
I just want to bask.
Yeah, I agree. But overall, so Keith Lee looks like he's going to have a matchup with Randy Orton. We'll do predictions later. But overall, kind of a lackluster debut, in my opinion. Dante, what do you think of Keith Lee's debut?
I mean, I thought it was fine for what it was. I want to take a look into it a little deeper, because I think there's more into it than I think maybe we're giving credit. Last week in a throwaway segment on YouTube, it was Drew McIntyre and Keith Lee training with each other before last weekend's events. From there, Drew McIntyre would then be seen on Takeover, where he predicted Keith Lee would win. And then Keith Lee would show up on Monday night to basically help out McIntyre. And the whole time there's that little bit of tension too with it. I think there's something more to it. Maybe this was planned. I think it was better than what it could have been. I expect very low things from the main roster these days. I didn't mind it. And the theme song, I just want to touch on one thing with that too.
Yeah.
The theme song that Keith Lee had was actually created by the former music recording artist for the WWE. They are trying to get a new one, is the rumor, and not have to pay the royalties to CFOs.
Oh, okay. Well, don't they play the royalties to CFO? Wait, CFO's not with them anymore?
Correct.
What?
They are not. They've been gone for like a year or so now.
That's huge. That's huge news. So this could affect a lot of theme songs.
That's why some people have been getting some random new ones, like Bailey and Rollins and those kind of guys.
Oh, so they did burn it down then?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And Johnny Gargano with getting the new one. Yeah. So everything great that you're seeing kind of go right now. And you're wondering why. There you go.
Huh, interesting. I did not know that. So anything else on Keith Lee, his debut? We'll talk about him later with coming up when we talk about our predictions for Payback. Anything else on Keith Lee, anybody?
Yes. I thought it was a great debut for him on Raw. I can't remember the last time an NXT star was called up and put into like the main angle of the show, which Keith Lee is right now. He's in with Drew McIntyre. There's something going on there. And he's with Randy Orton, and he's got a match with Randy Orton at Payback. I think I couldn't be more happy with. Expectations were low, I will say that, but I mean, this is about as good as it could have got for Keith Lee debuting on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just think the segment itself was just. I'm sorry to cut you off, Dante, but I just think it was just like weirdly set up, if that makes sense. I mean, I just don't think that they wrote it very well. Like it didn't. It kind of seemed choppy. It went to, Keith Lee promo, and then all of a sudden now they're in a match, and then now they're trying to sell it for Payback, so they can't have anybody lose. So you have, essentially they did the very skinny version of booking themselves into a corner and then booking themselves out. So I think that the reason the debut wasn't the greatest was because it wasn't written very well, if that makes sense. Like everyone did fine, it was executed fine, but it was just very awkward, and it was just very strange for me. I just think it was set up very strangely.
What? A WWE Raw segment wasn't well written? What? No.
Yeah, I mean, I
go
agree
ahead,
with what
Dante.
you're saying there, Billy. And I think my excitement, and kind of what Neil said too, was just the fact that he was an important guy in NXT, brought to the main roster to still look important. And that's something that you just don't see as much, especially, and then mark my words, when you see Undisputed Era and 3-4 weeks on SmackDown fighting Lucha House Party.
I like Kalisto.
Yeah, thank you.
I like Kalisto. I'm not going to lie. I think Kalisto is way underrated. In fact, little note, this week I watched the TLC, or the ladder match from TLC 2015, Lucha Dragons versus Usos versus New Day, and that's a really good match. I think
Salida del Sol.
The Salida del Sol off the ladder is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and bash the Lucha House Party, but this is going to look a lot better than the random stuff they're going to stick with Undisputed Era. Because look, you got to fill hours of television. I get it. Okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, but I get it.
Another note from the WWE: Renee Young is leaving. Apparently, she's in talks with Fox. What was it? Fox and ESPN. Is that right?
I think the ESPN has interest, but I know she was talking with Fox Sports. That's what I know is a true thing.
Okay, so
all I know is she has a 90-day no compete clause. So I'm sure once those 90 days are up, we will see where she lands.
Maybe she's free. Maybe we can get her on this podcast.
Yeah, we need a new host.
I mean, not new host. I mean, I feel attacked by that, but we can get her on the show at least.
Yeah, you put in the word. We'll see if we can make it happen.
Well, we'll see.
I'm sure our first guest.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna pivot a little bit though, because I just kind of want to get into it, because I think Renee Young is a WWE Hall of Famer. Yeah. If I'm being brutally, I mean, she was a trailblazer. She kicked ass at pretty much everything she did. Wherever she's going, she's gonna do absolutely well and phenomenal. And in 20 years, we'll see her in the Hall of Fame. Maybe less. Honestly, maybe less. Especially if she can report on professional wrestling in some capacity at whatever new gig she may go to.
Yeah, that's true. But the question is, does she want to, or does she want to branch into something else? That's the real question. But I could definitely see her going into the Hall of Fame at some point. I mean, if nothing else, her time with WWE, she got a marriage out of it. So, I mean, that's huge.
You know, that lead commentator, first woman to be the lead commentator of Monday Night Raw. You know, just count.
Main event to WrestleMania.
Yeah, main event to WrestleMania as well. Just countless things. But we will maybe someday we'll finally get her versus Bayley and Raw Underground. Maybe one day.
I saw that on Twitter.
It was amazing.
That would be a great match.
Yeah, and she probably opened up the door for the likes of Beth Phoenix too, for women in the commentary team. Yeah, I would say she definitely not in turn. I mean, Beth Phoenix was a wrestler in her own right, or legend in her own right, wrestling, but in forms of commentator, she's definitely. And I think Beth Phoenix is doing a great job as well. But moving on, we have a pay-per-view. It seems crazy to say. It seems crazy to say that we have a pay-per-view already 1 week after SummerSlam and NXT Takeover. But enlighten me on this, Neil. Why are they doing a pay-per-view 1 week after SummerSlam?
I have no idea. I don't even know how long this has been on the schedule to be like this. They didn't even start promoting this. I don't even think I knew Payback was happening until SummerSlam. Like, they ran an ad for it during the show. But I don't know. This isn't the first time they've booked shows this close together, but man, I don't know. You got no time. You got no time to build for this, but whatever. I'll still watch it.
Does AEW have something? I'm sorry to cut you off again, but AEW's not doing anything, are they?
No, I don't think so. They just had Dynamite tonight, and then All Out is September 5th. So no, I don't think so.
I mean, it's this conundrum all over again. It's just like when they book pay-per-views, 2 weeks in advance. Even then it has a little time to breathe. But now I guess they just have to get a certain amount of pay-per-view events in a year. But I mean, come on, man. I mean,
not. Go ahead.
No one has their. I don't mean to shit on Payback because we have some pretty good matches on the card. Come on, like give them a little bit of room to breathe, because if you don't, then you're not making it seem important. Otherwise, who's got their calendar circled for Payback? I mean, why should anyone care if you only give them 1 week to care?
Also, I think it changed the experience for SummerSlam because like, oh, okay, they didn't do a title change here. Well, they'll probably just do it at Payback. Like, and we'll talk about this in a little bit. I feel like, spoiler alert, I feel like that was the kind of thing with Cruz and MVP, Cruz and MVP was, oh, okay, they're just going to give the title to Lashley at Payback. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they're doing it so close to SummerSlam. Dante, any thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, it's a weird choice. I do wonder how far in advance this was booked, though. I mean, I wonder if the COVID era booking gave them the opportunity just to do bigger shows willy-nilly whenever they kind of feel like it. I mean, in a way, that's what NXT has been doing as they counter-program against AEW. So you can do those kinds of things, especially with you have the Thunderdome set up. You might as well get the most of your money's worth. But I don't know. It seems weird. It is really weird.
I guess I feel you on that too. I mean, might as well try it. If they think there's something there.
Does Payback have a little gimmick like the rest of the pay-per-views have had so far? I think that's why this doesn't feel as special. SummerSlam, too big for one night. No. WrestleMania, too big for one night. Backlash, we had the greatest wrestling match ever. SummerSlam, we'll never see it coming. Money in the Bank, climb the corporate ladder, like
the horror show.
How could we forget? Payback? What do you have in store for us? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Straight up Payback.
Yeah, even Payback, even though there's different matches completely different matches than what was. So really, the Payback doesn't mean too much overall as a name, because as we go through so far, the matches really aren't the same from SummerSlam. So it's not like anyone's really getting Payback. But we'll start with the first match of Payback. These are the ones that are announced. We're recording this on a Thursday, so obviously we won't know what's going down on SmackDown. So there could be some matches added, but Cultaholic already did their predictions, so we're gonna do our predictions. So screw it, we'll do it live. Anyway,
Live.
yeah. So the first one is Apollo Crews taking on Bobby Lashley for the U.S. Championship, and certainly I think this goes without saying, this has got to be Bobby Lashley's time to shine, right?
Please, pretty please.
He was looking pretty good on Raw Underground this week, beating some people up. And I don't know, has he ever won the United States Championship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
His first run.
He needs to get that belt back, I think.
Here's the thing, and then this is going to sound very pessimistic, but I don't care, because I know they don't care about the U.S. title. I don't care who has it. I don't care when they have it. I don't care if you're over when you get it. They do not have real intentions of making their mid-card champions seem important. They lose regularly in singles matches on regular TV. Unless it is Seth Rollins or Roman having that title, which they'll usually do just to have a world championship match set up. I just don't believe they care.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's disappointing.
But I just got one thing to say about Bobby Lashley, and it's this.
Do we love Bobby? Do we love Bobby?
Oh.
Do
love him.
Do we love Bobby? That's all I got to say about that. But definitely should be an interesting match. Anything else to say in this match? Let's go with the Billy.
Look, if it would be cool if they could use this as vehicle to make Bobby Lashley super cool again. Maybe use it as a opportunity to get the Hurt Business.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get them over, dude. I mean, have MVP as his mouthpiece, have Shelton Benjamin back him up. Just this might be a good opportunity to at least expand on the Hurt Business, right? Yeah, Hurt Business. Hurt Business's characters. I'm sorry. I haven't seen a whole lot of what they can do, so I can't remember the name, but I do know they have 3 very talented members. So let's use this as a vehicle to get them going.
Neil, your thoughts on the match?
Oh man, like I said, I think it's time to put the belt on Bobby Lashley, because the Hurt Business and business is good.
Yeah.
Booming.
Yeah. And so do we all agree that Bobby Lashley's coming out on top on this one?
Yeah.
All agree? All in favor? It sounds like we are all in favor. But
Yes.
there is just one more thing that I do want to say. I do think that they need to bring back Finlay, so we can have a rematch between Finlay and Bobby Lashley, so he can utter this great line.
You say your name is Finley and you love to fight. I say your name is Finley and you're a bastard. Wow! Can't say that.
Anyway.
Look, he was green. He tried really hard, but they fed him a fucking SmackDown versus Raw 2006 line.
That's the best thing I've ever heard from him, actually.
That's such a Vince McMahon thing. Who calls anyone a bastard? even in 2005.
You bastard.
It's like,
hey, you can't say that.
Here's
How are you out of touch at cussing someone out? I don't.
Here's my thing. Imagine you're on the playground, right? And you're in a diss battle with someone. And let's say it's me and Billy. And Billy says something really hot fire at me. And I say, "Hey Billy, people say that you're Billy and you love to fight. I say you're Billy and you're a bastard." Imagine how the kids would respond.
kids in the what was that thing with like the dome?
The dome?
And like it was like a dome structure, you can climb on it. What's that called?
The dome structure you can climb on?
Elimination chamber.
No. Well,
Punjabi.
The jungle gym.
yeah, jungle gym. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Oh.
I imagine like we're we're like in both sides of the jungle gym, but at our full size. So you're like, Gabe, you're super tall, so like your head's like sticking out of the top part while we're doing this, and I'm just kind of slowly inching around you because, and all the kids are like around like a house of fire.
I think that'd be a good idea for a new match in WWE. Just a giant jungle gym.
The jungle gym match.
Just a disc battle match. That's what we need. Another rap battle. Get John Cena on the phone.
Opado.
Yes.
All right, so yeah, we all agree that Bobby Lashley, do we love Bobby, that he's going to come out with the United States Championship, and Dante does not care. But a match that he might care about is the debuting Keith Lee taking on Randy Orton. And as much as I don't want to see Randy Orton lose because he's been so hot, I think that's something that we might have neglected to talk about in the SummerSlam is, man, Randy Orton's has just been on an amazing run. I think you got to bring Keith Lee on top here and get him his first win. What do you think, Dante?
I don't think so.
Really?
I think Keith Lee, not being really a main roster star yet, he can afford to take the loss. I think everything Randy's done during the pandemic, during 2020 as a whole, has been perfect. And I think the momentum needs to keep rolling. There's a story they're telling with Drew. Randy needs to stay menacing. He needs to stay dangerous.
Mm-hmm. And Neil, what do you think of this match? Who do you got coming out on top, the whole 9 yards?
I agree that Randy Orton needs to stay hot, but I think he can still do that even if Keith Lee beats him. I'm going to pick Keith Lee to win this match. He's going to win it, but then Randy Orton already snapped, but he's going to snap like again. Like I could see Keith Lee winning this match and then Randy Orton snapping and attacking Keith Lee after the match and like putting Keith Lee out of commission for a few weeks or something. But we need to keep Keith Lee on the show. I don't know. I think Randy Orton can afford the loss and still stay hot. I don't think Keith Lee can afford to lose this if he wants to stay something on Raw.
Billy, your thoughts on the match and predictions and all the above.
What is the health status of Edge?
Isn't he coming back at some point? I mean,
that's my big
November-ish.
question.
November-ish.
That's my big question around a pay-per-view called Payback. What is the status of Edge? Because who better to cost him this match against Keith Lee than him? But
even a pre-tape would be great.
Mm-hmm. And that's just speculation. So all speculation aside, so the question is, who could take 2 consecutive pay-per-view losses and still be over? And the answer is a 13-time world champion. So I'm taking Keith Lee, and I think it's the right decision.
Yeah, I think so too. And because like you said, Randy Orton is still going to be okay. But Dante, he's got Randy Orton and wants him to ride that hot streak. So differing opinions there. Our next match is the women's tag.
One thing I want to
ahead.
say about just the Orton just before we go. And then the reason why I think Keith Lee is a made man. And I think he still has a lot he can gain. It's just we see so much 50-50 booking in this show. It'd be something special to see one person who stays over, who's been dangerous, and gets to actually stay dangerous. A heel with real teeth. I just think that's something we don't see a lot in the show. And I think right now that's something Randy kind of has.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I disagree. I think that WWE has a babyface problem. Because besides, like Drew, until Roman came back, I mean, he was the main babyface. So that had that real main event feel to him. So that's why I think this might be more important for Keith Lee to win, because right now, Raw especially has a babyface problem. Because
I think the WWE as a whole though has a villain problem. I mean, who's the heel in the company that you really think is serious, that actually gets meaningful wins? The only one right now is Randy.
the Fiend, I guess. I mean, if
But
you
is he a
consider him a
heel?
heel.
That's
Yeah,
the weird
it's-
thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Turn Owens heel. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe they
Yeah.
just have a character problem then.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be either way.
Seth Rollins.
Okay, yeah, true.
That's true. Oh, we didn't talk about the Dominic match. Oh, well. Before we move on, anything we want to say about Dominic's opening match, kind of going back to SummerSlam? Go ahead,
Very
Dante.
nice. It was good. It was good. I mean, it was a no disqualification, so they had some ways to kind of protect and really make things a bit better than they could have. But even without those tricks, he showed that he does have that wrestling ability. He's an interesting character and someone I want to see more of. So, I mean, mission accomplished there.
Mm-hmm. Neil, any thoughts on Dominic?
I heard that he's possibly going to start using the name Prince Mysterio and wear a mask. That's what I want to see. I like Dominic, but I don't know. I think I want to see him like fully into the Mysterio legacy. He's been introduced now. Now I want to see Prince Mysterio.
But the only thing is, but he's not ugly. His dad is ugly. That's why he wore a mask.
Ray's not ugly.
Oh, come on. Look at him during his
Eric Bischoff said that he took the
WCW
mask
base.
off of Ray in WCW because Ray was handsome. So Eric
Dude looks
Bischoff
like dude looks really young for his age in WCW. I'm not going to go as far as to say he looked like a toddler, but I mean, he had a real baby face.
Yeah,
when
he did.
Was in
Leaned to the
WCW
junior.
Unmasked.
He coined the term babyface.
He really did. I mean, I'm not going to go so far as to say he looked like a child, but he looked pretty young.
Yeah.
And probably because he was like in his 20s.
Somebody check his birth certificate.
Yeah, it's like a Little League. It's like the Little League thing. I am 12. But anyway, you guys have seen Benchwarmers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone gets the reference. Okay, moving on. So Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax taking on Bayley and Sasha for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Let's start with Neil. What do you think? Do you think that this is just another stepping stone for Bayley and Sasha to prolong their feud, and another way of doing that is taking the tag team championships off of them? Or do you think they're going to prolong the feud and have more tension build?
I'm not sure. I think this match could really go either way, and I think no matter what they do, it still is going to be a good story either way. If they lose the belts, you're going to see the tension between those two grow even greater. If they keep the belts, you might think, oh, everything's cool now. Like, let's just get back on track. So I kind of want to see them keep the belts. So I'm going to go with them keeping the belts.
All right, go ahead, Dante. What do you think about this match and who's going to come out on top?
Yeah, interesting match. Like Neil said, could go either way. I want to see Bayley and Sasha keep the belts, mainly just so we can keep them on Raw and SmackDown. But I mean, storyline wise, it would make sense to see Nia and Shayna win.
Mm-hmm. And Billy.
I put my head on a pillow and started to rest during this here because much like Dante in the U.S. title, I don't care. And there is only one reason why. I do not have any interest in Shayna Baszler as a tag team wrestler at all. She is a singles star and should be treated as the killer that she absolutely is. I have no interest in seeing her as a tag team champion. And look, if she wins it, cool, great for her, right? But I'm not interested in seeing Shayna Baszler as a tag team champion because she should kill and she should have the money match with Asuka and absolutely be on her own tear and forging her own path right now, as opposed to being in a team. I am completely uninterested in seeing her in a tag team.
I think that this is going to go towards... I think they're going to keep it with Bayley and Sasha, and I think they're just going to build that feud more slowly because I think they want to ride it out to WrestleMania so you don't have to take the belts off them yet. But probably the main event of the evening will be Roman versus The Fiend versus Strowman for the Universal title. I'm really excited for this one. It could really go either way, but Dante, what are you feeling on this one?
It could go either way. It's a shame because it's The Fiend and it's Bray and it's so typical for him. But I do think Roman should win the title on Sunday. To me, I don't think there's anyone hotter. And I think there's more of a story, maybe even having The Fiend chase as a babyface Roman Reigns. There's more interest there for me if Roman has the belt.
Billy, go ahead.
In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was dog. And Vince said, let the dog be big. And he was big. He was the big dog. And it was good. The call for me here is Roman Reigns pinning Braun Strowman to win the title. You protect the Fiend, you give the title to the correct person, and everyone looks good. So have Roman Reigns pin Braun Strowman and get the title back that he never lost.
Neil, what do you think?
Man, I mean, I think Roman is going to win this match, but geez, The Fiend really got the shit end of the stick. Gets beat by Goldberg for the title in probably the dumbest match I've seen in a long time. And then, and now he gets the belt back, and a week later he's going to lose it. Like, how could you take literally like the most feared character of the last year and have him lose the top title on the show twice within that year? I don't fucking know. The Fiend just go for it.
I can actually book this pretty well. So you can't have you booked yourself into a corner because you can't have the Fiend lose to Braun Strowman twice. So you got to put the belt. You got to put the title. You're already in this corner. You got to put the title on the Fiend. Now, there are two ways the Fiend can lose this match and come out just fine. Number one, Roman pins Strowman or Strowman pins Reigns. That's, he's not part of the decision. I understand that the Fiend is a lot of times impervious to pain, but 2-on-1 with Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns would hurt someone a lot. So, I mean, if they like gang beat him, then like it's believable that he didn't, get up. I think they'll probably do something freaky here, and maybe, the Fiend will kind of sneak away with it too. That's another feeling I have. And then the second way is if you have them both fall on the Fiend, and the Fiend can't kick out because he's got 700 pounds on him. That's really the second way is obviously more ridiculous, but I think even if the Fiend loses, he will be just fine. He will be fine. I at least for me personally, he doesn't lose any momentum unless he is part of the losing end of the decision. As in, he's the one that gets pinned. He's the one that taps out to Braun Strowman's brand new submission or whatever. But he just can't be pinned. He can't be submitted. If he does that, then he's fine.
I'm actually going to take this a different way. I think that Bray is or the Fiend is gonna retain here because I think you could build the story farther with him against Roman Reigns, and I think that the Fiend loses eventually, but I say he holds on to the title now. What were you gonna say, Neil?
Now that you mentioned that, Gabe, I still think Roman's gonna win, but I think Roman just came back, like, can we just enjoy him being back for a little bit before we put the belt on him? I don't know. I think Roman's going to win still, but I like what you have to say, Gabe. So, Gabe, are you picking the Fiend?
I think I'm going to go with the Fiend on this one. I really think that it's not time yet, and I think you got to keep the title on the Fiend. But that is it for our predictions for Payback. Hopefully it's a decent show. I mean, you can only expect maybe there'll be more matches, but we won't have predictions for them. But the other thing that we got to predict, and this is pretty huge, is the huge match going on at NXT on Tuesday, I believe it is, announced this week on NXT, a 60-minute Iron Man match, not between two people, not between three people, but a fatal four-way 60-man Iron Man match between Ciampa, Gargano, Balor, and Cole, all former champions. Wow, this should be something. Isn't it going to be, Dante?
Yeah, it's insane, really. It's like they found an injury with Karen Cross and are like, what do we do? Throw our four best wrestlers out there for an hour. Just guaranteed an hour.
That's
and
an
knowing
episode.
How NXT does these big things, it's probably going to be limited commercials or no commercials at all, even, which would be even more insane. But
It'll probably be that
it's gonna be a great
side-by-side
match.
thing, that side-by-side thing that they do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But when I look at the situation, I think the safest thing to do is just put the belt on Balor. Go with the guy who's a star already. It may not mean the most exciting thing, but he's going to give you quality matches. There are some dream matches left for him in the brand. Make for the title.
Yep. So do you think that means that Cole and the Undisputed Era go up to the main roster then at some
I think
point?
that's guaranteed.
Oh, you
That's
okay?
undisputed.
Billy, what do you think? What do you think about this match? Who do you got winning? Who do you got going over?
In my head, I think that Finn Balor is going to win. But in my heart, they need to go with the heart of NXT, Johnny Gargano. And let me tell you why. If we have Johnny Gargano as an NXT champion, but we don't have chicken shit Johnny Gargano as NXT champion. The one that, runs away, the one that, a heel Johnny Gargano run an NXT champion, just please inject it into my veins with Candice LeRae interrupting everything until Karrion Kross can come back from injury and absolutely destroy him. So yeah, I would put it on Johnny Gargano. But I'm probably gonna go with Finn Balor.
Okay, Finn Balor.
No, I'm going. I know. You know what? I'm going for the heart of NXT. I'm going for Johnny Gargano. I talked myself into it.
Did your rebel heart tell you to do it?
Yep.
This rebel heart. This rebel heart.
Banger of a theme.
It is. It's one of the best things. And one day, in the big question, we'll have to talk about best WWE themes. But Neil, who do you got taking this one, and what's your anticipation for the match?
Oh, you guys, I love NXT, but for whatever reason, AEW, I haven't been watching it as much lately. Put the belt on Finn Balor, and I'll be watching NXT every week, starting with this 60-man Iron Man match, 60-minute Iron Man match. Finn Balor with the NXT belt. It's time. It's time. There's a reason that Finn Balor went to NXT, and I don't think it's for, being the veteran guy that helps the new guys. He's in his prime. Like, he needs to take advantage of these years of his career and really show what he's got. And I would love to see that belt back around his waist again.
I would too. I'm also going to go with Finn Balor for a lot of the same reasons you guys said. He's a proven commodity. He's going to have great matches, and it'll be in good hands with Finn Balor. And it seems like
one more thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead and finish your thought, Gabe.
It seems like NXT TV is almost can't miss TV next week. Like, I do not want to miss this match. Like, they have really done a good job setting that up. But go ahead, Billy.
Over under 20 kickouts.
Over.
I'll go under.
All right,
I'll be gonna be over.
Matthew of Botchamania brought up this good point. Is that the only problem with, like, specifically the matches with Cole and Gargano is the kick out fest. So I feel like that this will happen again. And I don't really particularly have a problem with it. But I mean, some people do. That's not really your style. I think if you tell the story right, it makes sense. But that's what I think is going to happen in this. A lot of kick out.
Yeah, that match will probably be a kick out party. And like I said, it's must-watch television. I cannot wait to see that on Tuesday night. Remember, that's on Tuesday night, so don't go looking for NXT on the regular Wednesday night, because you won't find it. You'll probably find, what is it, hockey? That's what they're doing Tuesday?
It's Super Tuesday, brother. Super Tuesday. Don't you forget it.
Wait. I'm missing this. What's the Super Tuesday thing?
Yeah, it's NXT Super Tuesday.
Oh, okay. My bad. But the reason they're doing it on Tuesday is it because of hockey or?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Probably.
I thought it was because I thought games were starting to be put on USA, but.
Well, they are, but I thought they were in a place to where they're still in the round of 16, so maybe.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's Super Tuesday. Don't miss it on Tuesday. And it is now time for the big question.
Well, it's the big question.
And this week's big question, I believe, comes from me. Yes, it does. This big question, who is the worst WWE wrestler of all time to have won a title? So there's been a lot of bad wrestlers throughout the years, but who is the worst to have won a title? And let's start, because I know he's got a big opinion on this. Let's start with Billy.
There's only one answer here. And if you watch wrestling in the 80s and early 90s, you are going to be very mad. But the answer is the Ultimate Warrior. A very bad wrestler with a ton of charisma. Don't get me wrong. Ton of charisma. There's an obvious reason why he was over in the time that he was. But a very bad wrestler. Ruined the careers in WCW of the Renegade and by proxy sort of Davey Boy Smith. And it goes without saying he is an awful human being. Awful human being. Saying things like queering doesn't make the world work. Wondering why Martin Luther King has a holiday for his birthday, but like George Washington doesn't, or something along those lines. Coming very close to saying that Hurricane Katrina was a good thing. And just a whole bunch of homophobic shit. So, the answer is the Ultimate Warrior.
And of course, he won the WWF title, right? Because he won the Intercontinental. That was the big thing against Honky Tonk Man.
Over Hulk Hogan. He used the power of the warrior. If I was really to do an Ultimate Warrior impression, I would ramble for 20 minutes. That's exactly what he did on WCW, and that's exactly what he did in real life too. Look, I get it, ton of charisma, but
all right, Billy has spoken. Dante, worst wrestler who have won a title.
And just so I have the clarifications on this, we're talking about a worst wrestler for ability, and it could be person as well, but we're talking ability first.
Yep.
And we're talking in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
So with those clarifications made, before I say my pick, I would like to say Goldberg.
Oh.
Bill Goldberg. He has done nothing of note in WWE. He does 2 moves. I don't care if you're talking 2003. I don't care if you're talking 2018, 19, or 20. He's awful. I do not want to see him in my rings. I don't want to see him in my TVs. I want to see him in video games, though.
So you can do the 2 moves of doom? Do you think anybody
moves?
Do you think anybody in a video game has ever hit a shooting star press with Bill Goldberg?
Yes.
No.
And let me go off of that too, okay? This is just a quick tangent on the video games. The jackhammer is the easiest move in the world to counter because you have all day to hit the button because he spends all that time grandstanding and hot dogging and doesn't hit the move. Now the spear, however, is where you make the money. So how you win a last man standing match with Goldberg is you spear your opponent a bunch of times, you jump out of the ring, go to that place where the camera switches between like a picture-in-picture and the whole picture, and just keep flopping back and forth. And there you go, free game tip right there. That's how you win a last man standing match.
So is that in 2K or what game are we talking here?
That's in 2K.
Okay.
But I would like to have Dante continue on his point because I am enjoying the hell out of it.
I mean, that about covers it for me and Goldberg. My rant lasted about the length of a Goldberg match in WWE, by the way.
That's a good point. If only.
Also, one more thing on Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's a giant piss baby. Honest to God, he cries about everything.
Yeah.
Like he just expects everyone to just fucking bow to him. And like he gets so mad at Matt Riddle for very much correctly pointing out that he is very bad at wrestling currently. I understand why he was over. Like I said with Ultimate Warrior, I get it, but he's just such a baby. It's just such a baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Neil, worst wrestler of all time that's won a title.
I've been thinking about this one for a while, and this one's not necessary. This one's really not based on ability, but man,
I swear to God, if you say Sami Zayn, I swear to God, if you say Sami Zayn.
Oh my gosh.
I thought about saying him, but I'm talking like
Sami
Zayn's not even on my radar for this. He doesn't even qualify as a wrestler.
He's so good.
But I'm going with, you may know him from his days as Karoom White's caddy. You may know him from his days as a cheerleader on the Spirit Squad.
Oh no.
But my worst wrestler of all time is Dolph Ziggler. Anytime this guy is on TV, I do not give a shit. I will literally turn off the TV and just walk out of the room because I don't care what he says. I don't care. I already know if Dolph Ziggler's in the match, if anybody's fighting Dolph Ziggler is going to lose because he's the same shit for 10 years. And I'm sick of him. I'm sick of him. You know he's never going to win. He shouldn't win because he's the worst of all time.
I'm going to hard disagree only because I popped so hard when he beat Alberto Del Rio, when he finally cashed in that Money in the Bank contract. Because he can wrestle, he can talk. It's just, especially lately, I just don't know what he's supposed to be doing. I mean, they're just kind of shoehorning him in. And if you look on his Twitter too, it looks like he's already looking past wrestling. Almost.
He's a comedian.
Good.
I know that.
He should look past wrestling because he is my worst wrestler of all time.
I'm sorry. I got to disagree with you as well, Neil. I vote. Okay, this is something. My first ever wrestling shirt was the pink show off shirt. So that's something that I'll always cherish. And I don't know. I just think Ziggler, he's good in the ring. He's good on the mic, kind of like what Billy said. He never gets the chance. And I agree with you. Yes, you know that he's probably going to lose. But is that really his fault?
Yes.
I don't think so. But moving on to mine, and sorry, Neil. But moving on to my worst wrestler who won the title, and this wrestler has won the big one. It is gotta be the Great Khali. He's slow, lanky. All he can do is a chop. He can't talk. He can't talk whatsoever. He has terrible knees, and I just think that he is the worst wrestler to have ever won a title. And it's just embarrassing that they ever went with him and thought that was a good idea.
Look, I'm going to be honest. They did a very strange job of booking the Great Khali and putting him in spots when he was very clearly green. The Punjabi prison match comes to mind. I did love that when he first won a world title, he held it up upside down. That was super fun. But I do think there's been some good Khali moments. I mean, that segment with Santino Marella during Christmas where he just grabs the mic and goes, fa la 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 la, fa da 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 da, fa. Oh my God, I pop every time. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from though. I honestly do. I mean, it's a product of bad booking and just all around just bad in general.
How about just the fact that there was a time where the Great Khali, as immobile, as inflexible, as lack of a better word, good wrestler, there was a time he was champion of everything. He was the champion. The champion, absolutely. So we are going to move on to a segment we like to call the last shot. This is where if you have a hot take, you get 30 seconds to say whatever you want about the world of wrestling. And who wants to go first this week? Neil, you want to go? Go ahead, Neil.
My last shot today is about Hangman Adam Page. On Dynamite this week, he was officially kicked out of the Elite by the Young Bucks. And I say, Hangman Adam Page, screw the Elite. You do not need them. You can be way cooler without them. And I think You need to go and do your own thing. So I'm excited for Hangman Adam Page. He might be feeling a little down that he got kicked out of the Elite, but I think this opens up a lot of doors for him.
Very good. Billy, go ahead.
It's not a hot take, but I am officially endorsing Maxwell Jacob Friedman as AEW World Champion. It is time to strap the rocket to him and send him straight into the stratosphere, because he's going to be money. He's going to piss people off, and he's going to be an absolute money champion. So not a hot take, but I would like to officially endorse MJF as AEW World Champion.
Dante, go ahead.
With such a crazy week in wrestling this last week, I think the biggest thing I need to take away and give great importance to, I hate to be that guy, but Velveteen Dream. I think there's been a revelation, and I think it's something that needs to be talked about this last weekend at multiple angles. Velveteen Dream was trending to be fired. And you know what? He kind of should be. There's an uncomfortability watching him perform. And I think there was even possibly an angle in that ladder match where he fell through the ladder, wasn't seen on NXT this week. I think a reckoning has happened. And the fan base has told you they're not comfortable with what's going on. And I think that in itself is a good moment for change.
Yeah, I 100% agree. There's way too much baggage here. Obviously, accusations are accusations, what have you. But it's important that this is more. The more personally that I see, the more I believe that his time in WWE needs to come to an end. So I 100% agree with you, Dante, because I'm not comfortable watching him perform.
And my hot take for this week, my last shot, is I actually think that the lack of crowd and the the Performance Center crowd has actually helped the mid card. For example, I was watching NXT this week, and it was a match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Usually, if it's like a Raw crowd or something like that, the crowd really doesn't care. But when you have a Performance Center crowd who has to be there and has to make a lot of noise, it makes it seem more interesting, and it seems like the crowd is more into it. I'm not saying replace the fans, obviously, but all I'm saying is, for me, it made it a better experience to have people interested in the match when a lot of matches like on Raw just kind of go by the wayside fan crowd wise. So that is my hot take for the week.
Let's expand on that a little bit. I like that. I think that now that they have a controlled environment, they make it so more matches matter. So yeah, I like that. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I was just watching like the Cruiserweight Championship match, and I was thinking if this was on Raw with a normal crowd, like no one would care about this at all. You would be a tepid tone, and maybe for the kickouts and the 3 counts, you'd get some reactions, but there would be zero reactions for the rest of it if this was like a normal Raw crowd. But yeah, I think the Performance Center people really kick it off a notch, and it's almost an advantage of quarantine wrestling. Yeah, so that is it for the week. That has been the episode of Ringsiders. Any final thoughts, guys? We all good? All right. Well, we will see you next week. Make sure to listen on Anchor Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find podcasts. We are probably there. And enjoy Payback and enjoy NXT next week. And we'll talk to you next week.